you for coming. Good to see you all. My name's Sandra Price. I run Price's Back Clinic in Surrey and Marylebone and treat people of all ages for musculoskeletal issues. As an osteopath, my focus of health is about structure and function within the body. So once I help rebalance the tissues by releasing the tension and adhesions and offloading any strain, the patients need to heal. The healing process is massively affected by nutrition, because if building blocks for cellular repair are not available, then the whole process is sabotaged, causing delayed recovery and continued weakness and susceptibility. Antioxidants from fruit and vegetables are key to expedite your body's ability to heal and restore. But in most cases, when you eat a carrot that has been bought a few days ago, that left the ground more than a week before, which means if it loses 50% of the nutrition each day, on the 7th day, there'll be less than 1% of that total content available for absorption. It is still valuable for roughage and mineral support, but you can see why a whole food supplement is imperative to keep your body on track. Having seen the clinical research involved with Juice Plus, and based on the fact it is essentially just fruit and veg juiced and dried at low temperatures to retain the nutrition, it's a no-brainer. So I personally use it with great effect, and that's why I recommend it to my patients. As I've experienced the improved skin and hair quality, it also helps with my training program. It reduces my recovery time. So most people prefer capsules, but some adults like the chews, which is also good for children. Protein shakes, really good tasting. The vegetables it's derived from, of course, similarly like omega capsules, they're also cutting out the fish, which is more sustainable. The company is a reliable enterprise, shipping the products out regularly to whichever pattern of delivery you prefer. So this is an incredible power of plants harnessed for your better health in a way that really makes good sense, as well as being backed by the science. So I'll hand you back to James, who looks half his age. Yes, he's nearly 90. Thanks, James.
Thank you, Sandra. Well, there we go. So a wonderful introduction from Sandra, who's an osteopath. I work with the Juice Plus company as a franchisee, and it's my enormous pleasure to introduce to you a great friend, Sue Worrall, who is an absolute superstar, and she is a real expert in this whole field. So Sue is a nutritionist of over 30 years, and she works in London and Cardiff, and she's actually been taking Juice Plus herself for over 17 years. So it gives me enormous pleasure to introduce the wonderful and amazing Sue Worrall.
Thank you very much. That's very kind. Thank you very much. So yeah, I've been taking Juice Plus myself for over 17 years and absolutely love it. But I also love the science of it, and that was a wonderful introduction to the product there, Sandra. Gives them an idea of why people like yourself will take on the product as part of their business, because doctors in the UK use the NHS, and it's not as easy for us to take on products as it is in places like America. So I'm no longer running clinics. A while ago, I put my whole business online, and now Juice Plus is even more integral to it than it used to be. So I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end. So I'm going to go and give you some more insights into the wonders and the power of Juice Plus products. So we have got an abundance of disease in the world at the moment, and with the lockdown and COVID pandemic, it's got even worse. So we have got, I'm not going to read every slide out to you so you can see what it says. It affects heart disease, it affects cancer, it affects diabetes, and we've got a huge population with obesity. We are second to the US. We used to point our finger at the US. We should stop doing that. We are second to the US with all these diseases. The environment is not helping us. We've got more problems than ever with the environment, with toxins, with esters in our water, with air pollution, and now with our shortage of building our own defenses from our microbiome, because we're being disinfected to death, and we're not being allowed to get outside and mix with other bacteria, which improves and grows and strengthens our immune system. So more than 50% of Americans eat processed food. Well, it shouldn't say processed food, it should say ultra processed food, because once you pick a bean and cook it, you're processing it. But we're talking about ultra processed foods. There was an amazing program in the UK very recently, and all of you should go and watch it. It's on iPlayer. It's called What Are We Feeding Our Kids? And you would say, hallelujah, I've got Juice Plus after watching it. So we are second to the US in this as well. So we're not doing very well. So we can't, again, point a finger at them. And we found out through this program that 20% of our population eat 80% ultra processed foods, and that the children are eating even more than the adults, and the adolescent even more than them. So we need Juice Plus for ourselves. We need to make sure we give it to our children, and we need to make sure we at least give our adolescents a start before they go out in the world and make their own choices. So there's never been a time when we need it more. And as Sandra said, when we pick our food, when we get our food, it has a garden to table time that is quite long, and the journey is also quite long. So it travels, picked too soon, travels too far, stored for too long. And broccoli, for example, will lose 50 to 80% of its nutrition the time we get it. We need to take action. We need to do something. And the Juice Plus company is not just a company that just throws out the product. They really encourage the whole gambit. They encourage exercise, good sleep, stress management, water, safer products on your skin. Your skin is an organ. And most of all, and most important, the most important thing is to eat real food. This is what I did in my clinics. This is what I charge people for and help them get better. This is how I got Paralympians from Chunky Monkey on a bike, having broke his T12 in his back, to a gold and 2 silver medals. But it's also how I got children and families to eat in the same way, with the use of Juice Plus and a program to go with it. So Sandra mentioned oxidative stress is how we age. We can't live without it, but we don't want our body to let it overwhelm it. So the only way we can combat that is to get antioxidants. And guess where you get those? Fruits and vegetables. It's the only place we can get them. And it's really important that we get it every single day, because it's every single day that matters. So not only could it save your health, it could actually save your life by eating fruits and vegetables. It is the most important thing to do. We cannot get rid of visceral fat either by exercising. We need to do that by eating well. And we need to get rid of the ultra processed foods, as I mentioned before. And the easiest way to do that is to teach your body what it needs, because if you're not eating it, it won't get to know it. So your subconscious will not get to know what it likes unless we feed it to them in some way. And that's what Juice Plus does. So we can get fruits and vegetables from the supermarket, but they are picked before they're ripe, as you see. The variety isn't the same. We're not getting the whole rainbow effect or the orchestra effect, and it's processed. And if you see any food that's marked enriched, it means they have processed the hell out of the vitamin C and they've been put more in. So that's called enriched with vitamin C. So don't let that lovely word fool you, thinking I'm getting much better food. It's that they've processed something out and had to put it back in. So whole food is the answer. Vitamins don't work. All the studies before show it doesn't work. And something like a Barocca type thing has got 1,200 milligrams of vitamin C. An apple has got 10,000 plant nutrients. One of them is vitamin C. And when we eat an orchard apple, we get about 5 milligrams of vitamin C. When we eat 1,200 milligrams from a tablet or capsule, we have to process all of the 1,200, but we only get 4. So that's really important part to note, that it doesn't work unless it's unfractionated and in the fruit and veg itself. And this is not new. This is a Daily Mail headline from 2002. I know they're always telling us they'll kill us, something will kill us, but this is important that it was showing them. We've got a huge obesity crisis, almost as big as America's, really bad. We can't just diet that out. We can't just starve ourselves. and empty our fat cells, because the fat cells are protecting us from toxins. That's why we store them. That's why we break them down. They're all fat soluble and they keeps us safe. On that note, by the way, things like Coca-Cola, it takes about 36 cans of water to disseminate 1 can of cola, and it lasts in your body quite a few days and stays in your fat cells until the toxins can go. So if we do it too fast, we get full of toxins, we get ill after, and we get headaches and symptoms. If we do it properly and enrich our diet properly with good fruits and vegetables, then we are really healthy, not just about weight loss, about real underlying health that stops us being affected so much by things like COVID. It helps us fight it. So these are our wonderful capsules. They are amazing. They are, as Sandra said, juice dried on farms. If they're not, they're shipped very carefully and kept in suspension for not too long. And they are encapsulated in a nutraceutical laboratory. And the capsule is actually made from fermented tapioca called pullulan. It actually has a much better oxygen barrier than the other old pharmaceutical capsules that used to contain some gelatin type things which we don't want. And it dissolves easily in our body. It makes it more delicate. So occasionally we get a tablet capsule that's broken now, but that's because they are very delicate. And it's one of the very few, I don't think the only fruit and veg supplement on the market that is all fruits and vegetables and is made with put inside a pullulan capsule. So the capsule range now includes the omegas, and I'll touch on those in a second. So the importance of encapsulation is that you can buy fruit and veg dried powders. They're around in lots of different places, and you can have some in other forms. But Juice Plus take this extra cost, which is not small, and the extra care to make sure that what we have in our precious capsules remains precious ingredients, because it can oxidize so easily. So that's why the encapsulation is important. Now, when it comes to the what's in them, years ago, the guy called Smokey Santel, who actually invented the first Juice Plus, chose the fruits and veg for synergy. There wasn't any berries then, but the berries added in is amazing for circulation and antioxidants. A very powerful bunch altogether. So they're chosen for their synergy, and so they all work together, and it makes our body be able to not just absorb it, but actually absorb and utilize it and break whatever it doesn't need down into H2O. Juice Plus have now become growers, which is an amazing thing. They started to become growers looking at broccoli first, because there's a variety of broccoli that is not as green looking, but it actually has more antioxidants and more nutrients, plant nutrients. So they've developed this, and now they employ wonderful family-run farms like this cranberry farmer. If you haven't watched this video, go and watch it. It just is the epitome of what Juice Plus Company is all about. A wonderful family farm where they grow cranberries. Now, the most important thing to note from this video when you watch it and from here is to know that they grow the best variety of cranberries as well. So they grow the Belder variety, which is longer on the marsh. Once again, it makes it more expensive because it costs more to grow and to pick. And it has more anthocyanins. So more antioxidants, more anthocyanins, more plant nutrients. And that's why they choose it. And they grow that specially for Juice Plus. So they have more than one farm growing everything in case there's some kind of weather incident or natural disaster. So they've always got a supply. Now, when they brought out the omegas, I thought, I might have to have the Juice Plus and maybe a krill, because I wasn't too sure I'd have all the different parts that I needed. But it does absolutely. You can read on the actual label exactly what's in it. And their omega-3 comes from something called schizachytrum. Schizachytrum is an algae that can be grown outside our oceans. So it's not a cheap thing to grow, but it is the best and most pure and most ancient source of omega-3. It's what the fish eat to get their omega-3. So it's 100% plant-based. It's really stable and sustainable. And we are not just interrupting fish life and the stocking of our oceans, we're not even interrupting our oceans to farm it. So they're vegan, they're cold pressed, and there are the best bit about the cold pressed, not to go over that bit, is that being cold pressed makes a huge difference to the capsules. When you buy any oil products inside capsules, then they have to have the normal capsules have to be heated very high to make that seal, that oxygen barrier, so that the oil doesn't become rancid. And the thing with that is that the actual process of sealing that capsule can actually heat the oil, and then in that case it becomes rancid and hydrogenated. So with Juice Plus, it doesn't need that. The capsule can be pressed together with very little heat. So it removes that Russian roulette thing where you don't know whether you're getting a capsule that'll heal you or harm you. So it's cold pressed and vegan and really good. And the amounts of DHA and EPA are perfect for us. The newest project, once again, I don't know why, because I love the Juice Plus company, but once again, I was concerned that it might be full of sugar, or they might find some way of adding some caffeine that was just a shot of caffeine, because I'm very caffeine sensitive. But I absolutely love it. I've got mine here. Every day I have my uplift since the lockdown began, because I'm working in so many countries. I'm got phone calls all through the day, and it's not just energy it gives you, it's mental acuity. It just keeps your brain working well. And you can read what's in there. It's yerba mate tea, it's guava, it's lemon peel, it's mango, and it's tart cherry. Amazing. And it's full of B vitamins, which is great news for women, because we need our B vitamins. Move on, slide, move on. Why isn't it moving on? Oh, thank you. So it's got vitamin B1, thiamine. You can read this on site. I'm not going to go through the whole slide, but all these B vitamins, this whole group of B vitamins, is what doctors often prescribe for women. And it does help a bit, but just like Sandra was saying about the carrot life, it is got some goodness in there, but our body has to work so hard to get what it needs from it, and to break down and disseminate the rest. So it's a brilliant product, gives us all the B vitamins, and also gives us this long-lasting energy that actually makes our brain and our thinking pattern much better. So Juice Plus shakes, fantastic. I've worked with so many athletes, endurance runners, long distance runners, extreme runners. One of my team did 6 marathons in 8 days in the Amazon jungle, and 14 marathons in 17 days in Nepal. And he used the soups for that. He doesn't like anything with any sort of sweet taste, so he used to drink soups with cold water. I mean, I don't know, I couldn't do it. But the macronutrients in this are very, very good. They're really easy to absorb, especially after exercise and before exercise. And they've got some of the fruit and vegetable micronutrients as well. They contain things like broccoli sprouts, radish sprouts, alfalfa sprouts, chickpea powder, millet. It's really, really good for you. And you can make everything with it. I make Welsh cakes with it. I make pancakes with it. I make scones with it. I make all sorts of recipe smoothies with it. And my grandchildren absolutely love it. It is so versatile. And all the others that go with it, I find with sports people, the bars are great, because especially with golfers, cyclists, they put it in one drinking bottle with water and one with this. Really versatile and a really brilliant product. So what can we say? Because we've got to be very careful what we say. And the saying's been around for a long time, but what we need to be saying and what we need to be stressing is that we should be eating 13 to 17 portions of fruits and vegetables every day. Not a serving. A serving could be any size, but it's about a portion. And I can't possibly manage, although I try really hard some days. So what we're doing is we're bridging the gap between what we manage to eat and what our intentions and what we actually do eat. And this gives us an amazing foundation of this synergy and rainbow effect of fruits, vegetables, grains and berries, plus the macronutrients and all the omegas we need. So we've got everything we need in our capsules and our macronutrient powders. It's a brilliant supplement for anyone to have, no matter whether you're a mum, a teenager in university, or to help with your children's health. It suits everybody. It's a food, not a multivitamin, and the certification is beyond anybody else's. It's certified by NSF, and it's the most researched product in the world, the most researched food product in the world. The studies have been done by all these universities, and a few years ago, Dr. Frederick Lamprecht, who was the head of the study in Graz University, agreed to come and work for Juice Plus part-time. And he's brilliant, because what he does is he translates the abstract of these studies, which some of them are not easy to understand. He translates these into mini videos and written papers that we can hand out or we can share with anyone, so people understand what these studies are actually saying about Juice Plus. The universities go to Juice Plus and ask them, can they do a study? And they are all published on PubMed, and they are gold standard. So that means they are double-blind, crossover, placebo tested. And the placebo, I believe, is said to be one of the best they've seen, that you cannot tell the difference. So the great thing about it is, Sandra's testimony to this today, that it's now attracting thousands of doctors around the world. In the UK, it's more difficult for them, but around the world, thousands of doctors are now taking it on as their supplement. Because what is the Hippocratic Oath? First, it says do no harm, and they know it's fruits and vegetables, it can do no harm. And secondly, it's to help the patients get better, and it certainly does that. I personally have turned around 15 people through lockdown from being diabetic to no longer diabetic. I've only got one left who's sort of pre-diabetic hanging in there. All the others are not even pre-diabetic. They are completely transformed. And I use my program along with Juice Plus. And some of you might not know this, but there is an Institute of Science, the Juice Plus Institute of Science, which studies not just what Juice Plus does with all the plants in it for us, but it studies all the plants. It studies what the 50,000 edible species are doing for our health. The science has only just scratched the surface of this. They've only just started to understand it. There's a lot more to come, believe me. And the Institute of Science is helping us to advance and promote the latest discoveries. And it's all funded by the Juice Plus company. So the last of the projects is Tower Garden, and I might give you a flash of my Tower Garden at the end. I love my Tower Garden. I've been eating off it now since the beginning of lockdown, and it's absolutely brilliant. I'm having a go at strawberries now, but to take some lettuce, tower to table, and eat it is just so powerful. And whenever I have guests for supper, they absolutely love it. So you can read these results with a children's study now called the Family Health Study. The results are still coming in, and amazing results. No other product has tried this with any children involved particularly. My grandchildren have had it since before they were born, because they were conceived with Juice Plus in their parents' veins, and they have never been to a doctor. Oh, sorry, they've had a broken foot and a cut open eye, and one visit to the nurse for a heat rash just to be safe. They've never had antibiotics. One is 9, one is 6, and they take their Juice Plus every day. So there's more support than ever with Juice Plus. We've got ebooks, webinars, educational tools, amazing amount of information. And do go on to the Healthy Revolution on the partner or the customer portal and just watch all of Manfred Lamprecht's videos. I've got a new program now. I no longer run clinics. I've put all mine online, and mine is called the Walk the Weight Off Mind and Body. I've just been doing a walk today, and it has everything: mindfulness and empowered breathing, a 6-step health plan, and a whole HIIT exercise, walk exercise, 22 minutes long. So Juice Plus is integral to that, and there's information on it all the way through. We've got 15 people on it, amazing results so far. And what's happened is every one of them have come up with mental health improvement first, which is brilliant because I didn't know we could do it that easily. So we're thrilled, and it's ever onward, and I'm now using it in a completely different way, and hopefully it's going to prove just as successful as the way I used it in my clinics. So what we want to do to end is we want to have nature's pharmacy with an F, run by farmers, not pharmacy with a PH, run by scientists. And we want to eat food that's made like that, not with hundreds of ingredients and words we cannot understand. That's it. Thank you very much.
Wow, Sue, that was amazing. I mean, really, what you've packed into that time is extraordinary. Now, everyone, we do have a little bit of time for questions. So if you'd like to put anything on the chat that you'd like to ask Sue, then please go ahead. Any particular question you'd like to ask about the product, please go ahead. And we'll just
stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, and we'll just wait a few minutes for that to come in. Sue, just one question I wanted to ask is that obviously you came across Juice Plus some time ago. What sort of made you really cross the Rubicon as such and say, yeah, this is something I've got to incorporate in my practice?
Okay, so I found it when I was I was put on an event in a beautiful golf spa resort with 10 ladies, and the personal trainer I was employing brought this lady along as a guest, and he'd given her some Juice Plus. She'd given him some Juice Plus. So he asked, could she talk? First of all, I said no, and then I said, all right, but I hate supplements. Sat there, and she started to speak, and about 3/4 of the way through, I said, right, stop. We haven't got any more time because we've got a busy. I'm just buying it. I'll just buy it. And all the 10 ladies bought it. He said, if you're buying it, I'm buying it. So I had 10 customers straight away on the first. And I didn't want to be a distributor at all. I didn't want to know selling it. I was really stupid. But I said yes because my mum had died of cancer and my aunt in America was just diagnosed with cancer and I couldn't afford 2 lots. So I did it for her. And then I sort of sat on it for a few years and then started to come to the meetings and decided that I just needed to take this on. And so I've used it in my clinics ever since.
Great. Great. Well, look, Sue, I think we're pretty much out of time now because we said that we would keep it to 30 minutes. We don't want to run over. We're very grateful to you for taking your time. I know you're frantically busy, but thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Sandra, also for hosting this evening as well. I'm very, very grateful to you. And thank you, everyone, for coming on today. As we say, 30 minutes, and what a wonderful run through you've given us. So I think that's it for now.
Can I just say, I'd love to connect with you, Sandra.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd like to too.
Fantastic. I'll find you on LinkedIn, yes?
Indeed, yes.
Great.
Or James could connect us.
I will. Okay, everyone. Well, look, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We will have the video available, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a very nice evening. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.